Welcome to Matador News. I'm Jeanette Aralo.
And I'm Natalie Palacios. Schools across the country enforce the separation of twins in kindergarten classes because they say it leads to greater academic achievement. But new research done by a CSUN professor shows there's no research to support the policy. Matador News reporter Courtney Wallace is in our studio with Professor Lynn Melby Gordon.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Professor Gordon. Can you tell us a little bit about your recent study on twin separation in kindergarten classes?
Oh, I'd be happy to. I just had a major paper published in the Journal of Educational Policy, and it focused on this question, is it a good idea for principals to enforce mandatory separation of twins when they enter kindergarten? This is something that happens all over the place. Most mommies and daddies, when they take their little 4.5, 5-year-old kids in to register them for kindergarten, the principals say, oh, we have a policy where we always separate twins. You know, it's important for them to learn to make friends, and you know, it's just, they'll learn better, they assert. So I surveyed a whole bunch of elementary school principals and kindergarten teachers and parents of twins and twins themselves, including a bunch of preschool and kindergarten twins as well as older twins. And the results of the study kind of document what's going on out there. Most principals have an allegiance to the ideals of individualism and independence, and they want those little twins to stand on their own 2 feet. Whereas most parents of twins would prefer to place their twins together. Not all of them, but most people want to put their twins together, and the vast majority of preschool and kindergarten twins do want to be together. We also found out that principals tend to think that separating them is a good idea because they think, oh yeah, research supports the idea that they will learn better. Well, guess what? Research does not support that. In fact, research says that twins do better when they're together, or that it doesn't matter. So, of course, the idea is that it depends on the kids. It looks like the best policy is no policy. So we would recommend that principals take parents' opinions into consideration and to make placement choices based on those particular kids' individual needs, because certainly sometimes it's a good idea to separate. For example, when twins kind of present with behavior problems and they fight too much in class, and there are other good reasons, but unless there is a particular good reason to separate twins, in general, we might as well place them together.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again. Now back to you in the studio.
President Obama has signed a new law raising the federal minimum wage for government workers. The new order raises hourly wage from $7.25 to just over $10 an hour, and it affects around 300,000 federal workers. The new law will take effect on January 1st, 2015. Here in California, the minimum wage will be raised to $10 an hour beginning January 1st of 2016.
The government is considering making affordable changes to student debit cards. The debit cards are often used to access financial aid, but the fees can add up. The Government Accountability Office says the fees are similar to those of larger financial institutions, but officials say they want to make sure students know their options and are aware of contract terms.
Senator Rand Paul is suing President Obama and other top national security officials over the government's electronic surveillance program. The Republican senator says this bulk metadata collection infringes on basic civil liberties and needs to be ruled unconstitutional. Senator Paul says he's prepared for how big this lawsuit will be, but the White House says they're doing everything legal. Government including...
We think it may well be the largest class action lawsuit ever filed on behalf of the Bill of Rights.
It has been found to be lawful by multiple courts, and it receives oversight from all 3 branches of government, including the Congress.
A survey last month shows Americans are split on this issue, with 48% supporting the metadata collection program and 47% opposing it. The lawsuit is expected to take several years.
Minors will now have the right to euthanasia in Belgium. The law extends this right to anyone under the age of 18 who understands what euthanasia means. A child psychologist will examine the minor to make sure they are capable of making the decision. The bill was originally legalized in 2002 for those in constant and unbearable physical or mental suffering. Minors were left out of this legislation for political reasons. The new bill passed 86-44, granting minors the right to die. The bill is now being sent over to the king, who will sign it into a law.
Afghanistan ignores U.S. military objections and releases 65 prisoners. U.S. military officials say the prisoners are dangerous insurgents who may retaliate. The prisoners were released from a detention facility in Bagram and taken away by Afghan National Army's police. Officials say more than 24 of the prisoners released have been linked to the deaths of 32 U.S. and allied troops.
England is expecting more rain and floods overnight and into next week. More than 56,000 homes are without power, and forecasters are predicting more than 2 inches of rain by Friday. 14 severe flood warnings have been issued in towns west of London. Train services have been canceled and roads have been closed in part of the country. The UK has seen heavy rainfall since mid-December and has not experienced this much rain in over 200 years.
Safety officials is urging people in the southeast to stay home during the snowstorm. Hundreds of thousands of people are without power and thousands of flights have already been canceled. Raleigh and Charlotte received 10 inches of snow and Atlanta received 3/4 of an inch of ice so far. North Carolina and Georgia are experiencing the worst of the storm. Georgia's governor has declared a state of emergency, causing school districts to cancel classes. All federal offices in Washington, D.C. are also being ordered to close.
Flowers are blooming and the sun is shining, and CSUN students warm just in time for this Valentine's Day. On campus, it is a warm 82 degrees with a low of 55. Wind is only 2 miles per hour, a drastic change from last week. Students are encouraged to spend more time outdoors to study. Enjoy the warm weather through the weekend, but be prepared for a 10-degree temperature drop this President's Day.
A selfie leads to the arrest of a man who stole $10,000 amongst other items from a San Diego area church. 2009 CSUN journalism grad Matt Johnson has the story.
It is unusual. I would say this, though, it's happening more frequently.
Police say an incriminating selfie was stored inside of a cell phone left at the scene of a church burglary. The 26-year-old in the photo is Adam Howe. In Chula Vista, police say after he took the picture, he broke into Hilltop Tabernacle Church and took money.
There was a loss of approximately $10,000 in cash, some purses, and a laptop computer.
Pictures of the pastor's office show some of the damage Howe allegedly caused by the time officers showed up on Monday. By Tuesday, police had Howe in custody thanks to the cell phone left behind.
We were able to identify a picture of one of the suspects involved in the burglary.
A closer look at the photo also gave away the suspect's location. Police say they came here just a couple miles away to Harborside Park, and they found the suspect with a bunch of stolen items.
We did recover some property from the suspect initially, and then when we went and arrested 2 of his companions, we found additional property within the tent that they were staying in.
The pastor says most of the property has not yet been recovered, though he's thankful for good police work and the break that led to the arrests.
People's cell phones more and more are becoming their wallets, and so it's certainly one of those things that helps benefit law enforcement.
And with the latest on the Marcus and Comcast, here is Sinead Garcia.
Comcast is announcing plans to buy Time Warner Cable for $45 billion. Comcast has about 23 million television subscribers. Industry experts say Comcast will gain even more leverage on the country's marketplace for television. Time Warner Cable had been hitting an industry low after blackouts in millions of homes. Comcast says it will be improving Time Warner's performance, bringing its own software. The FCC will decide whether to approve the merge or not. If the 2 companies come together, it will be finalized by the end of the year. The cold weather has caused January retail sales to drop. The commerce sales fell 0.4% last month. This is the second straight decline since December. Financial expert Diane Swank says consumers spend more money once temperatures rise again. Stocks are up after an increase in corporate earnings. Goodyear Tire and Rubber rose 10.1%. CBS rose 3.7%. Both companies beat Wall Street's projections. At the last check, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 56, the Standard & Poor's 500 index rose 9, and the NASDAQ was up 36. And back to you, Jeanette.
And now Ben has the latest on an important health issue.
A recent study stirs debate saying mammograms might not reduce risk of breast cancer deaths. The Canadian study spent 2 decades following 90,000 women who get annual mammograms but found no change in breast cancer death rates. Other studies say mammograms cause false alarms and overtreatment of cancers that may not be life-threatening. Critics say the study used outdated equipment and poor methods that make mammograms look ineffective. The study highlights that mammograms are imperfect and cause false alarms despite criticism. The American Cancer Society still recommends women over 40 to get mammograms every year. And now to you, Natalie.
Sinead Garcia has the latest on entertainment.
Sid Caesar dies at 91 after a brief illness at his Beverly Hills home. He was one of the first television stars in the early 1950s. He influenced many of today's comedians and comedy writers. Caesar won 2 Emmys for his work in Your Shows of Shows and Caesar's Hour. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1985. Troubled child star Amanda Bynes has been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Bynes had a bad year, including starting a fire on a driveway and soaking her dog with gasoline. After being hospitalized for months, a judge praised her parents for her huge improvements. She has quit acting and says she hopes to become a fashion designer. And now back to you, Jeanette.
And now Ben has the latest for your sports.
The Miami Heat beat the Golden State Warriors last night 111-110 off a rainbow three-pointer by LeBron James with .01 left on the clock. James flirted with a triple-double in the win with 36 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. Steph Curry led all Warriors in scoring with 29 points. New York Yankees shortstop Derek Jeter is hanging up his cleats after the 2014 season. Jeter played all 18 years for the Yankees, winning the American League Rookie of the Year award in 1996, winning the World Series 5 times while taking home the World Series MVP in 2000. Jeter is part of the 3,000 Hit Club, a club for batters who reach 3,000 hits in their career. Ticket sales have already risen because of the latest news about Jeter's retirement, from $26 to a whopping $280 for a cheap bleacher seat. Today marks the 7th day for the Olympics in Sochi. 114 medals have been awarded to 23 countries. Norway holds the lead with 13 medals, while Germany leads in gold medals with 7. The United States holds 2nd place with 12 total medals, and the Olympic hosting country Russia holds 11. Now back to you, Natalie.
This Valentine's Day, you can surprise your significant other with your favorite love song. Some film students are selling singing telegrams to help fundraise for their thesis film titled Sing About It. Film director Alyssa Carter is personally delivering the telegrams around campus.
We are selling singograms to the public for Valentine's Day, so people can basically come up and sign up for essentially what is a telegram, and instead of, handing it to someone as a note, we sing them a song. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you be my little baby?
Singing telegrams are being sold for $3 each in front of the bookstore.
We asked CSUN students to share their plans for Valentine's Day, and here is what they had to say.
I don't have any currently, but I just might go out with my girls.
We're probably just gonna go to dinner and maybe watch a movie, but I'm not sure yet.
I'm single and nothing to do.
Take my girlfriend shooting, to a range.
We're gonna go to the beach, and then after that, I haven't decided where we're gonna go yet, so probably take her to the movies, and then after that, probably do something with her.
Seems like students are celebrating in their own unique way. Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Jeanette Aralo.
And I'm Natalie Palacios. Have a great day.